Hello everybody, this will be a video on my favorite, or I've noticed the most powerful money flow crossovers using Market Cipher B. So make sure to like and subscribe, and I will leave this in a playlist of learning Market Cipher. So feel free to check out my other playlist along with my Market Cipher playlist of strategies. So feel free to check those out. I think they are of good value, and I think you'll learn a lot from them. Anyways, the very first time frame that I like to look at for money flow crossovers, and again, what I mean by money flow crossovers is when the money flow flips from the green into the red and just kind of resets. And then you can see on the bottom of the toolbar here, it just flips colors basically. And from my experience of using Market Cipher B, I've noticed that these money flow crossovers are quite powerful at times, especially if you are looking for a scalp trade to a swing trade to a day trade. So anyways, the very first time frame that I like to look at is the 12-minute time frame. I know Jason Casper likes to use this time frame a lot. It's just kind of grown on me, the 12-minute time frame. And so just by looking at the money flow crossover at times, it can lead to sometimes a local trend reversal to mostly scalp trades to pretty good day trades at most of the time. As you can see right here, when we got this nice money flow crossover, price just kind of went downwards for a while. I do have a strategy on the 12-minute time frame involving the money flow crossover. So feel free to check that out in the Market Cipher strategies playlist. But from my notice that whenever you get a pronated or a long money flow crossover into the red right here, same with the green, I've noticed that price tends to react accordingly, and it reacts quite well. As you can see on Market Cipher B, we got a pretty long money flow crossover here, and price did end up kind of dumping down 20%. Same as when we got this positive money flow crossover to the upside, we got a nice 8% relief rally kind of. So you can see the money flow crossover on the 12-minute is quite powerful and strong. You guys can add alerts to this just by going to the alert button or the alarm clock looking button, drop down to the Market Cipher B, and then you want to go to, let me see here, crossing, and then you want to go to the money flow and then click this value and then set it to 0. This will just kind of create a alert setting. So when you know of when the 12-minute time frame has a money flow crossover, you want to make sure that you are on the time frame in which you want the money flow crossover alert to happen. So just keep that in mind, as it's pretty important. I do have that as a alert on my computer. So I'll move on to the next time frame and just kind of go to my next favorite money flow crossover. This is more used for day trades. When I say day trades, you can hold the position open for several hours to a day. Sometimes it'll lead to a swing trade. As you can see right here, this was a nice swing trade. We had a money flow crossover into the negative, and this led to fairly 25% move. I like to use this with the 424 strategy. Again, it goes off of the 24-minute green dots and money flow crossover. From my experience, whenever you get the money flow crossover first, it leads to a better move, in my opinion, just from my experience from using the 424 strategy. Again, it works well in trending markets, so I don't really expect you guys, or do I recommend you guys to use the 424 strategy in this current market conditions, as we are kind of going sideways and kind of going downward. So I suppose you could use it for shorts mainly, but again, I'd be careful in using that strategy. So again, just look at the money flow crossover on the 24-minute, and you guys can create alerts for that. I do have alerts on the 24-minute as it is quite powerful for kind of a day trade. Moving on to the next popular time frame for money flow crossovers is the 1 hour. The 1 hour, again, is very good for day trading. Again, when we have these prolonged money flow crossovers on the 1 hour, like this right here, can lead to very good pumps and dumps pretty much. Just be careful of when price kind of consolidates and has a bunch of money flow crossovers at once. That's usually not too good of a sign, but whenever we get these prolonged money flow crossovers to the upside and downside, they do lead to pretty good pumps. One of the ways I like to look at if the money flow crossover is going to be kind of long is, again, going to our higher time frames and looking for the green dot, or just seeing what momentum it's doing. Typically, you'll get these long 1 hour money flow crossovers when the momentum wave is looking to be oversold or overbought. And then the money flow is just kind of moving in the matching direction of the 1 hour. So again, what you guys can do is just kind of look at the money flow crossovers and just kind of seeing where the money flow direction is going. You guys can work your way down from the 12-minute, go to the 24-minute, the 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, and then weekly. Or you guys can work your way down and start from the weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 24-minute, and 12-minute. But usually I just work my day or money flow crossovers from the 12-minute and then start up and just kind of analyze the charts. Money flow is very powerful, especially in market Cipher B. It's really one of a kind program for money flow, pretty much. So moving on to the next time frame is the 4 hour time frame. This leads to pretty good swing trades from my experience and from what I've noticed using market Cipher B. What with this too, with money flow, is that you want to be careful of the RSIs. You typically don't want to see the RSIs split apart with these money flow crossovers. As you can see right here, when we're flipping to the green, the RSI is right here. I'll put this up a little bit more. The RSIs right here were pretty far split apart. So you guys can use the RSIs if they're split apart or not, just to kind of have extra confirmation with the money flow. That is just what I've kind of used. So you can see right here, when we're getting this money flow crossover right here, we did have the RSI split pretty far apart and price didn't really do it much. So again, it's important to kind of look at the context, and the context, what I've used is, again, the RSIs and kind of momentum waves, and then kind of looking around at the other time frames. But again, it's something you kind of have to use from experience to really get the hang of it. But again, the RSIs and the momentum waves should help you in assisting of what the money flow is going to do. So again, the 4 hour is a good time frame for the money flow. Next is the daily. And again, this is kind of the macro environment you want to be looking at. This can determine if price is going to overall be in a downtrend or an uptrend. As you can see from sort of the local top back in mid-November to end of December, we did get that money flow crossover on the daily. This did lead to a downtrend for quite some time. We did end up getting a little bit of a relief rally once we got this positive money flow crossover, but now we're in a downtrend once that money flow crossover happened to be negative. And again, you guys can look at the RSIs to determine the strength of the money flow crossover. As you can see, as we were in a downtrend like that during this prolonged time, the money flow was quite thick and the RSIs were pretty far split apart, meaning just extra strength to the downside. Again, you want to see the RSIs or the stochastic RSI being green when we are oversold, and then kind of red when we are overbought. So just something to keep in mind and to constantly be looking at when looking at money flow. Then lastly, we will move on to the weekly money flow crossover. Again, this is good to look at with the daily time frame. Very good for macro time frames. As you can see, we had money flow just kind of coming down for quite some time, and which led to a continuing down in the price. This is kind of hard to see, so that's kind of why I go to the daily time frame, just to get an extra context and just kind of zoom in and look at what money flow is doing from a macro perspective. But again, typically you want to see the weekly and daily go hand in hand. The weekly is just kind of what you can use for a macro time frame and just kind of see what price is doing in the near future. Again, if you are looking for a swing long per se, and you see money flow coming down on the weekly time frame, typically that swing long won't really end up being too profitable. From what I've noticed, you won't get too much of a pump, but if you end up looking for a swing short with the money flow in the weekly time frame, that will be very, very profitable, as you're kind of going with the whole momentum behind the weekly. So in other words, I like to use the weekly time frame as sort of where momentum is. And as you can see, we have strong momentum to the downside. So you can think of it as like sort of freight train momentum, sort of. And so same thing happened here. Had strong momentum to the downside. Money flow on the weekly was coming down. Price was coming down. Again, we got strong drops from this weekly money flow crossover. And then we got strong pumps when the weekly money flow crossover happened. So again, look at the daily, see what the daily is doing, and compare it to the weekly time frame when looking at this money flow crossover. So just right now, looking at the daily time frame, you can see money flow is coming down, and the weekly money flow is coming down too. However, the RSIs look to be kind of oversold. So again, this might kind of negate the power of the move. But again, you want to look at the daily, see what the daily is doing for the day. Right now, we're in a negative money flow crossover. Money flow is getting somewhat kind of thick, negative 22 usually. What I mean by thick money flow is usually when the money flow goes to a positive or negative of 15. That's usually a pretty strong momentum behind price action. So just keep that in mind of when you are looking at money flow. So that is pretty much it for the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Plus, feel free to check out my other playlist of learning Market Cipher B and the strategies associated behind money flow and Market Cipher. So thanks for watching. All right, bye.